This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have a small Hotpoint gas oven that is not heating, so we're going to be replacing the bake igniter, which is pretty easy. We got it unplugged. We're going to be pulling out these grates first, and we're going to use a standard head screwdriver to remove this one screw here right in the middle in the front, and that's going to allow us to remove this lower panel. Underneath the lower panel will be the bake igniter. They usually last about 4 or 5 years, and when they stop working you'll have like a late ignition or it might not ignite at all. So we're going to replace this part right here, the igniter. Just held on by 2 1/4-inch screws. I'm going to zip those off. I'm using an angle tool to get into that tighter angle, but you could use a ratchet, it would work fine. To just 1/4-inch socket to take it out. I like to put a little bit of oil on the threads, and then I like to tighten the screw a little bit and then loosen it. They tend to be, sometimes on ovens, a little bit hard to get these screws out because they get somewhat corroded. But putting a little bit of oil on the threads should really help. So once you get those 2 1/4-inch screws out, you can take the igniter off, and it's being held on by 2 wires that go through the firewall toward the back of the oven. And you can see it dangling here. This box right here, the sheet metal box, has 2 1/4-inch screws that you remove to take the box off. One on the bottom and one on the top. And once it's off, you'll be able to take out the wires to replace the igniter. So take out one more screw here, upper left-hand corner. So just 2 screws holding that on, and then I'm going to gently pull here so that the wire comes out with the female side part of the modular connector. I want to be careful I don't separate them. If you did, you could just go through the back panel behind the oven and fix it, but it's a little bit easier if you can do it from the front. So here's the new one, and this is kind of a generic one that works for a lot of different ovens. This is not specific to the Hotpoint, but it certainly will work fine. I do have to change the little metal case that holds it, because the metal case on this one is a little bit unusual. It's got a bracket that's bent at about a 33 degree angle. So I'm going to take the old one, I'm going to just grab the 2, you can see the difference in how the cases are. I'm going to pull it apart a little bit so I can pull out the old igniter from the metal case. I'll just slide it out. Now I'll grab the new one, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the 2 metal parts away from each other so I can slide out the brand new one. You want to be careful here that you don't let the front of this igniter hit anything, because it's very fragile. I'm going to put it into the new, put the new igniter into the old case, and then we're going to squeeze in on the sides of the case so that it kind of pinches in on the ceramic piece. Again, be careful not to have the front of the igniter hit anything. Okay, that's all ready. So we're going to get that in position. We're going to connect the power with the modular connector, and that'll just clip right in. And then I'm going to push those wires back in through the firewall, and I want to get them in as far as I can. And then I can go ahead and use the 2 1/4-inch screws to put the igniter onto the bracket. Probably just start those by hand, and then I can zip them in with my driver. This angle tool made by DeWalt makes it really easy to get into these corners, but a ratchet would work fine too with a 1/4-inch socket. Here's the other one, we'll tighten it up. Then I'll go ahead and plug it in and give it a little test. So I'll turn it on, and then I can see it glowing, and after about 20 to 30 seconds it'll get hot enough for the gas to ignite. Just gets brighter and brighter, and then it lets the gas in, you get this nice blue flame. So that worked great. Good ignition, pretty fast. We're going to let that cool down. We turned it off. And then we're going to just put those panels back on where they go. Want to make sure everything's nice and cool before you reach in there and work with any of the parts. So I'm putting that sheet metal box back into position, and then there's 2 1/4" screws that are going to hold that on. Upper left hand corner. There we go. And lower left corner. Okay, we're going to put the bottom panel back on. Slide it in. And we're going to slide in the front lip, and then we're going to put in that big standard head screw. We'll spin that in by hand, and then do a little bit of tightening with the standard head screwdriver. Should take you only about maybe 15 to 20 minutes to do the whole procedure. And the igniters are pretty cheap. I think this one costs $27. You can get it from Amazon. There you go, slide that in. And we gave it another test and it did great. So back working great. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe when you get a chance so we can send you a lot more videos on how to repair your home appliances.